How long have you been acting?
For 10 years now.
How long have you been a part of this web series?
Since the beginning.
What do you enjoy about this web series?
I enjoy how it's relatable, it's very realistic, and it takes the point of view from everyone in the family. There's not just focusing on one character who's the prettiest or one character who's the darkest. It focuses on every single character in the entire show. And they all have their own perspectives, their own opinions, and they deal with their own issues in their own way.
How do you feel about playing your character?
Whew. It's definitely that's kind of an interesting question. It's definitely different. I've never really played a character that is so bold and so shrewd and is unapologetic for what he does and will take advantage of anyone in every way, shape, or form and doesn't even care how they feel. He just automatically takes it.
What do you like about being him?
What do I like about being a rapist slash demented bastard? I feel what I like about him is how fearless he is. He's a very fearless character. I've never played someone who's so unapologetic for what he says or what he does. And I also never played anyone who's able to bounce back so quickly with a remark or a comment, because every time the character Elise, played by Megan, every time she would try to approach something with him, he would automatically come back with a smarter remark and make her feel worse about herself. So I've never played a character who's just so attentive and just bold.
What do you not like about being him?
I don't like how he takes advantage of people. He does it in a way that is very cruel and it's very painful. And to make someone feel that way, I couldn't imagine. I really couldn't. I couldn't imagine anybody doing that to me, and I really couldn't imagine doing that to anybody else. So for him to be that type of person that he is really hard from time to time, especially considering what he does. It's very, very hard to put myself in that mindset and having to go to that place, because it's a place I never want to go to.
What's the hardest part about being him?
The hardest part, I think, would be to remind myself that this is him. This is who you have to be. You have to be this demented and shrewd, and you have to do it all the way up to the very end. And you can't hold back. He's a character who does not hold back at all, and he's a type who is very, very much outspoken and very planning and manipulative. So that's probably the hardest part, is trying to get into that mindset from time to time.
Describe who your character is to you.
My character is a person who, well, hopefully we'll get into this next season. He's a character who I believe was a victim in his past life, probably maybe even now. He's someone who's experienced so much and seen so much from his perspective, that he takes on the role of the rebellious, abusive asshole now, because he's seen that through society, through being at home, through his past life, like I said, and now he's just a person who's like, fuck it, I'm just going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to take advantage of it all. So I would describe Kyle as very, very misunderstood from time to time, and just very dark character.
Who is your favorite character and why?
In the series?
Yep, out of everybody.
Out of everybody. Oh, that's a good question. I don't want to pick me because that's just being selfish. I would say it would be, I would say Avery, played by
Why?
Mackenzie, because she she is who she is. She isn't sorry for being bisexual. She isn't sorry for having to act the way she does. She's just herself. And granted, she had been through rough things in her past life. She's at a point where she doesn't take it anymore from anybody. She does what she does, and she doesn't let anything stop her. So I think that's probably why she's my favorite character.
What storyline can you relate to the most?
That's a good one. I think... that's hard. I think I would relate with Connor's storyline, the boyfriend, because he's he was in the same situation that I'm in now. I'm always the one who is friend zoned from time to time, constantly by women. And when the opportunity comes and I let them know how I feel, it kind of feels weird and awkward, so I don't really know how they're going to take it. And I think that's who I can relate to the most for sure is Connor, because he's at a point where he thinks everything should be right. Let's give this a try and let's see what happens. And luckily for him, he made it past the friend zone, but hopefully I will one day. Who knows?
What do you really feel about the family?
I feel like they have their own their own personal problems, and they have their own demons that they either don't want to face or they just won't share with their families, so they drown it out in alcohol and drugs and sex and rude remarks and selfishness. And I feel like they're a very, very multi-dimensional family. I've never met a more family who has multiple sides to them like this family. So I feel like they are very, very unique in a way.
Is there a character you just can't stand?
I would say a character I can't stand is... I think it would be the other boyfriend. I can't think of his name right
Calvin?
now. Calvin, yes. Yes, Calvin. Because he's just a royal class fuck up. He just messes up just because he can, and I think that's not smart, and it's really, really sad because it's just a waste of a brain, and it's and it's very interesting because I see guys like that every day. So when I think of Calvin, I just see guys like that who I used to go to school with and who I go to school with now. So that's probably the character that I cannot stand the most. Kind of hope he gets killed off next season.
What's your favorite episode out of the whole thing?
My favorite episode? I think my favorite episode to me would be the episode with Kyle when he runs into Elise after the after party. I remember because when I read for that scene during the audition, that entire speech just completely astonished me because I couldn't believe that someone could be so cruel after what he did to her and just walk away and act as if he just told her to have a good day. I've never read anything so hellacious and just so cruel in my life, but that's probably my favorite episode because I felt like it was the first time where I could officially be a bad guy and have fun with it.
What's your favorite scene out of the entire thing?
My favorite scene out of the entire thing? I think my favorite scene would have to be when Connor kisses Elise.
For the first time?
Yeah, when she's on the rebound and he just does it spontaneously. I love it because, well, we did it multiple times and it was the most funniest thing in the world. Also because it was the first time that I've ever seen anybody take a leap of faith and just go for it. And I love it because he tried it and he succeeded.
Who do you like working with so far?
Really, everyone. There's not. It's kind of hard to categorize and pick a certain person because everyone's amazing. Everyone is just so passionate and so funny and just down to earth and very sweet. There's not one cast member who puts their ego ahead of everyone. They always think of one another, and they always laugh at moments where everyone is terrified and just disoriented. There's always that one cast member who just makes you laugh until you cry and makes you feel good and reminds you that it's gonna be okay. We're gonna get this finished, and we did it. So to answer your question, I think everyone, because they're all amazing.
What motivates you as an actor?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say what motivates me is the fact that I can become someone who is completely opposite of myself. It's an inner and out of body experience because granted I am great in my own ways and I think that I am amazing, but to be able to shift and truly transcend into becoming someone else, that is truly unreal. It doesn't even feel real at times. So that's what truly motivates me, is the mere fact that I could become someone else and people are watching and they care and they're listening and they truly are as passionate watching me do what I love as I am doing it for them.
Tell us about your past projects. What's one of your favorite or funniest moments from acting?
One of my favorite moments was doing Romeo and Juliet. That was probably the best play I've ever done. I mean, there's more to come for me, but by far that was the best one ever because it was the part of a lifetime that I've always wanted to play since I was 5 years old. I play Mercutio, and that part is just amazing. If I could do that part over and over again, I would do it for the rest of my life. Like, I wouldn't ask for any other part but Mercutio. And the funniest moment, I would say, was when I played Grandmaster Chad in Legally Blonde. And it was so funny because I was pretty much dancing and singing at the same time, which I'd never done before in my whole life. And it was really cool because there was one moment in the show where I said, I feel like Beyonce, and I did the single ladies move just for 5 seconds.
What do you think could happen to your character in the future?
Ooh. It's so it's amazing because, oh man, what could happen to Kyle? Oh man, can it be 2 options?
Yeah, just say
As
whatever
many as
you
I
want.
I feel like it could go many ways with Kyle, like it can with all the other characters. I feel like he could go in the direction of changing who he is and being a better person and being there for Elise when the time comes, because I don't want to give away what's going to happen, and truly just stand up and think of others besides himself. Or it could be a point where he does continue on this path and it catches up with him and he's going to either messing with the wrong person or it's going to come back full circle and get him. So I feel like those are probably going to be the 2 things that could happen. Also, something I really want to happen as well is that we go more deep into his background. Like, where is he from? Why? What motivates him? Why is he the way he is? Because I feel like with characters like Kyle, it always starts at the root from where they're from, especially in their household, because when you realize their surroundings and what's in their spectrum, you kind of get a good idea and you just think, wow, okay, that explains a lot.
Anything else you want to say about working on this project?
I would say that everybody should go and watch it. It's really interesting. I call it, for me, it's like Shameless meets Girls meets One Tree Hill all put together. It's a really amazing show. Megan is multi-talented. The mere fact that she can direct and act and look good in a wig is pretty amazing. So I would say just check it out.